The fans have spoken. After Capcom conducted a worldwide survey in 2024, Dino Crisis came in as their most requested franchise to bring back. Originally debuting on the PS1, this dinosaur survival horror game from Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami followed the same success formula as his breakout zombie franchise. One could argue that the original Dino Crisis was even more intense than Resident Evil. In this video I'm gonna discuss my ideas after revisiting these games and thinking where the biggest potential for a modern interpretation could lie. I'd also be interested in your suggestions below and what kind of expectations people have for this franchise in general, considering that it is pretty damn old, yet still managed to trump all other Capcom IP in this big survey. Personally, I never found this Jurassic Park style setting as fascinating as the bizarre mansions of RE. But there's no denying that the dinosaurs made for terrifying enemies in terms of gameplay. These raptors are much quicker and much tougher than your average zombie. They are so strong that the original game was primarily about isolating or stunning your enemies and then running away. To the point that your first pistol in Dino Crisis is borderline useless, which is kind of amusing. However, if they were to bring back the franchise today, I would suggest taking inspiration from the formula of Dino Crisis 2. The sequel was still rooted in the old survival horror formula, but focused on action much more. Instead of slowly exploring a puzzle-heavy facility with a few super strong enemies, Dino Crisis 2 bombarded the player with a never-ending onslaught of dinosaurs. With a wide array of weapons, it focused much more on blowing up as many reptiles as possible. Pretty unique for a survival game of this era. You would obtain points for combos and counterattacks while moving from one save point to another. And once there, similar to later games like Resident Evil 4, you could trade your XP points for new weapons and upgrades. There was still a bit of puzzle solving and backtracking, but that felt more like a genre obligation and was easily the weakest part of Dino Crisis 2. Going back and forth to find some keys felt pretty meaningless, like it was only there to stretch the game length. With that in mind, I'd suggest that a new Dino Crisis should fully commit to action. Or if they made a full remake of Dino Crisis 2, they should double down on the arcade action with more enemies, weapons and combo types. A remake of Dino Crisis 1 or a new game with that more intimate horror style could be pretty intense with modern tech. But Resident Evil already covers the horror base pretty well, with very different takes on horror between RE7 and the remakes of RE2 and RE4. The Dino Crisis 2 concept, on the other hand, could not only provide a breath of fresh air in Capcom's current lineup, but there's also room for growth, as it wasn't fully fleshed out on the PS1. Devil May Cry is also a series that originated out of the Resident Evil concepts but eventually turned to action, except that a hack and slay game is still a different beast than a dinosaur shooting game. With that said, it shouldn't become an ordinary third-person shooter like Exoprimal either. Dino Crisis could instead be a chance to bring back fixed camera angles. Some people might see that as outdated, but it really isn't. Contrary to popular belief, fixed camera angles are not synonymous with tank controls. More than enough games in that style play just fine. Again, to me, the sterile jungle set pieces never felt as immersive as the mansions and obscure villages of RE, but fixed camera angles can provide unique cinematography and atmosphere, which is usually lost by going behind the shoulder. This was already proven by the first Dino Crisis, which used moving angles and tracking shots playfully to heighten the intensity. Also, as a side note, can we get those floating fat collectibles in the style of Metal Gear Solid back? For some reason I find them quite satisfying to pick up. But anyway, with an action approach in the vein of Dino Crisis 2, there's lots of potential to make the raptor shooting even more insane and satisfying. Again, they tried with Exoprimal and there's a clear appeal in wacky dinosaur action, but a multiplayer live service game wasn't really the place for that. In conclusion, combine the cinematography of Dino Crisis 1 with the gameplay action of Dino Crisis 2. Then up the ante by adding more enemy types, more weapons, reducing artificial backtracking, and fully committing to dynamic set pieces that utilize modern technology to prove that this kind of game design still has lots of potential left.